Today she gave a speech saying everyone thought she was maybe going to step down. She's like, no, I'm not going to, bow out. I'm not going to, quote, kiss the ring and bow down to Trump.
Yeah.
So, Dave, when will she kiss the ring? Like, when's
Yeah.
that happening?
Well, that's became a more interesting question today because that was what a lot of us were asking in South Carolina. So they announced yesterday she'd give the speech today. They were sort of telling people before that she's going to give a speech. They were aware that people would come to the speech thinking maybe she's going to drop out. She was never going to drop out at the speech, but she rebooted the campaign argument she'd been making. A lot of that was the same. He's got these problems, got those problems, adding that she obviously was not going to wind it down and run for vice president. And she didn't say, and here's how I beat him. Like, that was missing from the speech was, and I will beat him somewhere. We're going to win the South Carolina primary. Like, that's important that this speech exists.
Right, she's not confident even in that, in her home state.
No, I think generally she's run a smart campaign, just one that cannot win. She's never been in a position where anyone can beat Donald Trump. She has made smart. I don't think she's made a huge mistake during the whole campaign. Now, some of that's by being super cautious and not coming out with like any policies beyond getting rid of the gas tax. But this got attention. It got in the news. Trump will probably respond to it today. She likes to make Trump react to her, and then she talks about that. She's very good at baiting him. But it was all a prep for her losing her home state primary, and she couldn't have the story be Nikki Haley loses home state primary. The story might, not that I'm right now, but Saturday night, 7:10 p.m. maybe, it's called for Trump over Haley, and she gives a speech, but the story is Haley had already laid the groundwork for a disappointment in her own state by saying, like they were making everybody ready so that when she loses, which again she didn't rule out that she would lose. There's a different story, which I thought was with the cards she had pretty smart, and just around our newsroom. I had written about half of the story about the campaign. It wasn't saying, it was just from the ground updating people on stuff. But the fact that she did this means she changed the news. She could still have the power to do that. Because she was getting, if you watch what she gets at Gaggles, when she's campaigning and reporters ask her questions after event, or on Fox, she's always just asked, can you win South Carolina? When will you drop out?
Yeah.
You would ask, when will she drop out and kiss the ring? And that's what's weird. She didn't say when. It is harder to imagine her actually quitting and endorsing Trump than it was a month ago, which that is where I think she actually has some clout. Does she have clout inside the current Republican Party? She doesn't. But if she keeps getting 25 to 35% in the Republican vote, let's imagine a situation where in 2020 Bernie Sanders drops out, Bernie Sanders never drops out and never endorses Joe Biden.
Right.
That would probably be pretty bad. People would say, "Oh, he couldn't unite his party. There was a huge chunk of voters that Bernie Sanders could direct to him, and he's not doing it." If she wants to be really bitter about this and help sink him, she totally could.
Yeah.
And so that is what made it more interesting today. That she is not saying, "I need to get." She basically has asked the media in so many words, "Stop asking me when I'm going to drop out. What percentage I need to win in a state." Not that people will stop, because I'm just going to keep running for president and collecting a chunk of the vote and some delegates, and I will never stop. You'll never have me tell you I'm going to stop.
Yeah, and I mean, I think she has showed a remarkable amount of resilience and kind of I do not agree with her politics at all, but in terms of the rest of the Republicans who've just folded and folded and folded, she obviously has the money backing her. It's a little bit and I want to pivot to Biden, but it's a little bit like Haley's waiting in the wings to see, and we've talked about this, if all within the criminal indictments, if they're going to come down on him and he's going to eventually, it's going to be just too shaky to keep going, or the Republican Party decides we can't have this nominee. I don't think that's going to happen, but she'll be there to sort of clean up if it does. Or, who knows? Yes, maybe not run third party, but maybe not endorse.
Yeah.
I don't think she's that brave. I think she will endorse, Dave. I think she's gonna at some point.
Yeah. I might be a little bit too naive about this because DeSantis got very specific and I wouldn't say mean, but dismissive about Trump's ability to just think straight and to be honest, and then he immediately endorsed him.
Right.
I think the difference is that DeSantis, if he ever runs again for something, for Senate or he runs for president again, he can't he can't piss off Trump. He needs Trump to endorse him. I don't think he even would. I think he'd endorse somebody else to make fun of him. And I do think Haley is clearly in the doghouse. She has nothing else to run for. She couldn't win a race in South Carolina if Trump is still relevant in the party. Her best in the long run. So she said, "I'm not preparing for 2028. How would I even do that?" The answer is, if Trump loses, and it sounds crazy to all of us now, but if Trump loses 2 elections in a row, she will be able to say, "Well, I gave you this other option, you never took it." And that's the only way in which she's relevant in the future. It's one where Trump is irrelevant, or not irrelevant, where Trump is a loser. But imagine also, it's December 2024, and Trump has lost. A lot of Republicans who are defending Trump are doing so. She is right, out of fear, but also they're defending him on his in his legal cases for everything he does, because they think that he might be that he has been the presumptive nominee against Joe Biden, right? Kevin McCarthy, when he was Speaker, that's how he'd defend Trump. Oh, everything they're doing against him is because he's the nominee. What does happen if Trump is now 78 years old? Does he? Maybe he could threaten to run for president in 2028. But do people sort of back off? Is it like the end of Gladiator, when Joaquin Phoenix asked for a sword and everyone just sheathes them because they're like, no, we never liked you and we're not afraid of you anymore. That's the world she wants to live in. I don't know if we get there.
I want to live in that world too.
Only that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't want to live in her world, but I want to live in that world. That's the power of Trump. Yeah.
I see.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuationroom. Do